And so I'll just mention another thing. What the yogis say is that when we live with this fidelity to a higher purpose, we also live in joy. We live in joy and freedom from moment to moment. And this is a truth recognized by people from many traditions. So just this morning, I came across a teaching from Helen Keller, and she said that happiness comes not from self-gratification, but from fidelity to a higher purpose. Good morning and welcome. We always begin, at least I always begin, by saying 1,000 welcomes. And so I'm inviting us to turn within to the light within ourselves and to greet that light with 1,000 welcomes, to actually allow ourselves to feel that radiance, that divine energy, that curiosity, that joy, that passion, that integrity, that magnificence that is here as you, and to greet that and to welcome that with 1,000 welcomes. And then what happens, and I'm inviting you to notice how this works and how it feels for you, when you greet the light in yourself, it becomes possible to greet the light in every human whom you encounter. And so just play with this right now, but having greeted the light within yourself, I invite you to softly, gently open your eyes, and you can keep your focus kind of soft and expand your peripheral vision and allow yourself to actually acknowledge the light in every single human who's in this room. And then if you can, allow that recognition, that greeting, that welcome to expand out beyond those who are here in this room, and greet your friends, greet your family, greet the light in them. Greet those whom you find it really easy and joyful to connect with. Greet those who might give you wonderful opportunities to expand your practice of unconditional love. See if you can continue that wave of welcome. You're just welcoming the light in yourself, connecting with the light in everyone, and see if you can visualize that that wave of welcome and recognition and connection expands and it extends out and it embraces the whole world. So this is an example of what yogis say is possible for all of us. They say that when we connect with the friend of all beings, that friendliness actually shares through us with all beings. And what happens then is we connect with the energy of universal kinship, the energy of universal kindness, the energy of universal helpfulness and hopefulness and service. And so it's sort of like living the daily reality of all humans are my sister, all humans are my brother, all humans are my family. And it's the light in us that makes that recognition and that realization possible. So for each of us, I'm going to share some scriptures, I'm going to share some teachings and some entry points into living this in daily life. But for each of us, that's the basic invitation always, continually from moment to moment in daily life. And then after I share a couple of scriptures, I will invite Kashi forward and some others forward as well to celebrate a sacred consecration. So again, welcome. And if you joined us midstream, we are a meditation community in the yogic tradition. What that means is we share teachings of non-dual awareness. So what I just said is an example of that, recognizing the light in ourselves and honoring that that same light is present in the hearts of all beings. And then living a life of service, living a life that honors that right where we are, right with our particular talents and our skill sets, our bodies, our accents, our voices, wherever we are. We're just invited to live with fidelity to a higher purpose. And so I'll just mention another thing. What the yogis say is that when we live with this fidelity to a higher purpose, we also live in joy. We live in joy and freedom from moment to moment. And this is a truth recognized by people from many traditions. So just this morning, I came across a teaching from Helen Keller, and she said that happiness comes not from self-gratification, but from fidelity to a higher purpose. And so I'm just inviting ourselves to connect with that. Most humans have experimented with self-gratification and have said, how does that go? Does that lead to lasting satisfaction and joy and freedom and fulfillment? And most humans have decided after a while, no, actually, I would love lasting joy, satisfaction, and fulfillment. And so what the yogis say, and this was articulated by Helen Keller as well, is fidelity to a higher purpose. having that awareness and that continual daily dedication of being honorable and joyful and helpful and hopeful and kind and wise, and tuning in continually to what is of service, what is highest and best. That's what each of us is invited to do.
Hello, I am Acharya Kashi, a spiritual teacher and a student of Swami Nityananda at Awake Yoga Meditation. If you love being inspired, uplifted, encouraged, and on fire for inner transformation, like, subscribe, and follow.
We're meditating today on a series that is focusing on spiritual abundance. So this energy of light within ourselves, when we are in contact with that, it's pure joy. It's also pure potentiality. It's pure exuberance. It's pure dynamic vitality. So we're also in contact with the energy of spiritual abundance. One observation we shared last week was that all abundance is spiritual abundance. And so another way to put this, I'm going to share some sacred teachings right now. In Matthew 6:33, Jesus says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all else shall be added thereunto." And so for each of us, we're always going to the kingdom of God first. We're always going to the divine first. We're always going to righteousness, to that fidelity, to a higher purpose. And then we recognize that connectedness is where everything else comes. So for each of us, this is an opportunity. It's a very sacred opportunity to rededicate ourselves to absolute joy and faithfulness and commitment to that higher purpose that each of us is aware of and connected with always. And when we live in that, everything else unfolds and it shines forth in time and space. And so it's sort of like we live and move and breathe and have our being in a field of love. And that field of love, it's the energy of pure love. In some traditions, it's called agape. It's universal, it's unconditional, it's just pure kindness, not looking for anything to return back to you, but you're just circulating this joy and this gladness, this generosity. And so, of course, that energy comes back to you. And not necessarily in a one-to-one correlation. So you might be kind to this particular human, but a wave of kindness might come back to you through another human. And so it's just part of that energy of sharing whatever is highest and whatever is best. From the yogis, from the yogic teachings, a very similar teaching is offered from the Chandogya Upanishad. All this is Brahman. So all of this is the divine. And what each of us is invited to do is to practice and perfect our awareness that everything that we encounter, there is a core of divine light at the heart of that. And so what this means is we're always moving in a flow of blessing. We're always moving in a flow of generosity. We're always moving in a flow of beneficence. And each of us is simply invited to be an open door so that that generosity, that beneficence flows through us. The Chandogya Upanishad says, this universe comes forth from Brahman, and Brahman is just the supreme. It's that energy that is divine love, divine wisdom, that which is beyond name, beyond form. This universe comes forth from Brahman, exists in Brahman, and will return to Brahman. Verily, all is Brahman. A person is what their deep desire is. It is our deepest desire in this life that shapes the life to come. So let us direct our deepest desires to realize the divine. The divine who can be realized by the pure in heart, who is life, light, truth, who gives rise to all works, all odors, all tastes, who is beyond words, who is joy abiding. This is the divine dwelling in my heart. And I'll just note that's a very similar teaching. Jesus says, the pure in heart shall see God. That's also what this yogic teaching is saying. It is saying, if you are pure of heart, you will be able to connect. The divine is everywhere. The ground whereon you stand is holy ground. And what we're doing is taking off our shoes, letting go of any barrier that prevents us from connecting with the sacredness right where we are, right here, right now, in this moment. And then as we go forth in daily life, living that in our daily life. So I'm also going to share a teaching from Swami Nityananda, who's the radiant founder of our meditation community. And there's a wonderful picture of him right as you walk in. So if you didn't notice it on your way in, I invite you to notice it on your way out. Or if you're joining online, I invite you to look on our website, awakeyogameditation.org, under spiritual heritage. And you'll just see he is this energy of light made visible. And it's so fun to greet that light in him. What he says is this. And this is connecting back to the teaching that says you are what your deepest desire is. So for each of us, we're invited to connect with, what is my deepest desire? The pure desire. Connect with that deep, pure desire. The world is only relatively real. What will endure is that which we are and always have been. I might cry as I say this. It's tears of love. What will endure is the effect of a life well lived. For each of us. What will endure is the effect of a life well lived. The fruits of good deeds, of service, of sharing, of playfulness, joyfulness, of pure love in action. So for each of us always, that's the invitation, is to live that right where we are in daily life. He also says this, and the yogis are very honest about this. There is a process of self-transformation involved in becoming pure enough in heart to see the divine continually, everywhere, always. And so be brave and don't wait and dive into that practice and enjoy living that and become established in that. So that is your default. That is what you see and hear and are aware of continually. So he says this, be intent on practicing self-correction and self-transformation. As I transform, I will see the world as transformed. So if we're wanting to transform the world, transformation of the world begins right here. And then what happens is we're able to share that energy, just that radiance, that wisdom, that dynamic joy in a way that is exuberant, and it's like energy in flowing motion. And of course everyone wants to be a part of that, right? Because it's like we're living in that transformed energy. And so what happens is, of course, that circulation of spiritual abundance will help bring into view in time and space what we love. So we're just connecting with the purity of what we love, letting go of anything that blocks our awareness of that and our full, pure-hearted, glad, devoted, grateful expression of that. He also says this, good advice for humans. Drive away all wild concerns and undisciplined thoughts and false longings. So you can tell he's met a few humans. So for yourself, just to have a sense of humor, but also clarity, courage, honesty, have I been focusing on any wild concerns? If so, I drive them away. And I ask the divine light to do the driving away. It's going to be a lot easier if you ask the divine to do it. Remember, the divine is what makes all of this possible. Have I been indulging in any undisciplined thoughts or false longings? I drive it away by grace. I ask that divine wisdom, I ask that divine love, I ask that divine light to drive that away. And so this is the practice of our lifetime. This is what each of us is here to dedicate ourselves to commit to, and to be joyful and generous and glad about. He also says, and I'm starting to move toward the consecration here, he also says this, and so I'm sharing this with Kashi, who is being consecrated as Acharya, but also with all of us. This is what he says. Spiritual commitment is a prerequisite to spiritual growth. Although one that depends on our likes and dislikes is no spiritual commitment at all. So if I state that more directly, what he's saying is spiritual commitment will require you to go beyond your likes and dislikes. It will require you to go beyond your own personality. It will require you to expand beyond your sense of a separate individual self. This is back to, I connect with the light in me. That allows me to connect with the light in everyone. That allows all things to be possible. And so if you become aware of your own quirky personality, wonderful personality, cranky personality. Love it and give it to the divine. And ask the light in you to be of service nonetheless. And that is what it makes it possible for humans, faithfully, step by step, day by day, for the rest of their lives, to be of service. And so that is what each of us is invited to do, whatever role we play. He also says, when our commitment transcends our personal likes and dislikes, then it is solid, sound, and truly spiritual. Then we can release the net of regrets and follow the divine call of supreme wisdom and love. So for all of us, how about that net of regrets? And so I'm actually inviting you, become aware. Have you been noticing a net of regrets at all, in any way? Offer it to the divine. Become aware of it and offer it to the divine. And say, yes, I acknowledge this net of regrets, and I offer it to supreme wisdom and love. There is nothing that is stronger than supreme wisdom and love. And so whatever that net of regrets is for each of us, continually offer it to supreme wisdom and love, and ask supreme wisdom and love to melt that into light and allow the light to be of service through you. The other thing that I will say before I'm going to move this stand away and invite a couple people to come forward, I'm sharing a teaching from Howard Thurman. So Howard Thurman was an amazing mystic, an amazing teacher, an amazing minister, an amazing mentor to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This is what he said. A crown is placed over our heads that for the rest of our lives we are trying to grow tall enough to wear. And this is true. So this is true for Kashi, whom you're going to see consecrated as an Acharya, a spiritual teacher. It's true for each one of us. And so I would like us to connect within the heart of each one of us. There is supreme wisdom and there is supreme love. Above the head of each of us, there is supreme wisdom and supreme love. And you can actually visualize that it is there in the form of a crown of light above your head. See if you can just imagine a crown of light placed above your head. And see if you can also imagine that there is a crown of light in your heart as well. For the rest of our lives, each of us is invited to grow tall enough to wear that crown of light. And one of the ways that we do that is by continually connecting with this crown of light within our heart. Divine wisdom and divine love is always right here. It's always with us. It's always within us. This is a wonderful opportunity for me to thank Lakshmi and all the karma yogis whose selfless service makes it possible for us to be here. And I would like to first invite Acharya Pramadas to come forward. So Acharya Pramadas was consecrated as a spiritual teacher by Swami Shankarananda, our meditation community founder. And Swami Shankarananda left the body. He passed in 2014. Since that time, it's been my great joy to serve as the Swami of the community. And Acharya Pramadas has just been absolute fidelity to that higher purpose, with such joy, with such willingness, with such generosity. And he is first, last, and always a karma yogi, which means his personal self does not want to be standing up here. So he's standing up here on behalf of all karma yogis. So in a moment, I actually will invite karma yogis to stand as well. But right now, I just want to say thanks. It is a joy. It is an honor. It is amazing to acknowledge in physical form this is fidelity to a higher purpose. And it's made visible in the form of Acharya Pramadas. So this blue scarf, with great joy, makes visible that there is actual energy and support that is present that makes it possible for a person to serve as Acharya. And so what happens is, this is back, if you remember that image I gave you just a little while ago, when he was consecrated as Acharya, it was like a crown was placed over his head. For the rest of his life, he is growing tall enough to wear that crown. And so another way to put that very practically is, every time he meditates, every time he's of service in karma yoga, he's expanding his energy, he's living into that crown. And that's just a reminder of what we all are invited to do always. And so it's absolute joy, and I thank you. And I thank you because Premadas is up here and has been so welcoming to everyone. And so from the moment that Kashi walked into the meditation community, welcoming to Kashi, everyone is welcome in Acharya Premadas's heart. And so that is just such a joy and so beautiful as well. So thank you. It is a great gladness. I would like to invite Kashi to come forward. And Kashi, you're invited to stand right about here, and would you like to come forward as well? So this is Kashi and her beautiful wife, Purna. Neela, you're welcome to come forward, their beautiful daughter as well, if you like. And I'm inviting them to stand here in support. And I think this is really important to honor and acknowledge that Kashi steps forward to serve as Acharya, as spiritual teacher. We also celebrate Purna and Neela in their own right. We celebrate their light, their presence, their amazing awesomeness as karma yogis. And we also really honor and respect that Kashi serves as Acharya with the support and with the love of her family. And so we just honor and love them all with all our hearts. It's absolutely beautiful. And we give such thanks for that. If any family members are here for our beautiful beloveds, we invite you to stand as well. And we're just thanking you because we know that this beautiful being would not be here if it were not for you. So thank you. And I also just want to say, in our tradition, what yogis say is that when we meditate, we connect with our ancestors 7 generations back, 7 generations forward. So the ancestors are here. They are really here. So we really respect and bow to the ancestors. It's completely beautiful and magnificent. And for all, we're bowing to everyone's ancestors. That love and that strength, that heritage, that noble lineage is here for all of us. It's absolutely amazing. I would also invite to stand karma yogis. And so karma yogis are the incredible people whose selfless service makes it possible for us to be here. You're welcome to stay standing if you're comfortable. Anyone who wants, you're welcome to sit down. Karma yogi. Okay. Okay, so what I would like to do at this moment is share incredible blessings with Kashi. And I also just want to say thanks because the word Kashi, Kashi is a spiritual name, and in our tradition we give spiritual names in honor of the kind of qualities of spirit that show through each person. So for Kashi, that is naming radiance. And so that's about right, isn't it? I see people nodding. Even people who are learning that that's the translation for the first time, they're nodding. The other thing that I would like to say just in gladness and thanksgiving is Kashi is brilliant, and she's so much fun to work with. And so there's also just such joy and generosity and dedication, such fidelity to a higher purpose, and also continual willingness to fine-tune and refine and just always be asking, like, is this most of service? Can we adjust this in any way? Can we make this even better in any way? And so this is a scarf which honors that in you, which serves as Acharya. And so I'll just mention before I share blessings with everyone, the word Acharya, it applies to men, it applies to women. You'll be super glad to know there's a slightly different pronunciation. So it's Acharya Premadas and Acharya Kashi. So there's a slightly long A on the last syllable, Acharya Kashi, but there's not a quiz later, so you're okay. However you say it, it's okay as well. But the blue scarf is meaningful because of the inner commitment. The blue scarf doesn't create the inner commitment, it makes visible. It's an outer sign of that inner commitment. And so for each of us, I'm about to share some blessings with Kashi, but I invite each of us, if you like, you're invited to sit, if you like, you're invited to stand, but you are also receiving blessings. And so you are receiving blessings that help you be of service with fidelity to the highest purpose of your heart. And so whatever helps you tune into that, for some people, closing your eyes and just consciously opening your heart or opening your hands can help you be aware of the blessings that are received. So, by the power of God, Christ, and gurus. I acknowledge and praise and give thanks. It is an absolute joy to greet you as Acharya Kashi. Whooping is fine. So much love, so much gratitude, so much joy. I don't think I properly hugged you. So I'll just share a few words in close. Thank you, that's perfect. So we're meditating on this energy of the divine love and the wisdom that's right in the heart of each of us. And one of the things that the yogis say, which is the truth, is that divine love and wisdom is much closer to us than we think. It is much nearer to us than we think. And so I think often we have an image that divine love and wisdom, like, it's far away. It's in the temple, it's in the mosque, it's in the synagogue, it's in the hall, it's in the church, it's not in my living room. And so what the yogis say is actually it's right here. It's in the heart of each of us. The temple is right here in the heart of each of us. That holy, sacred sanctuary space is right here in the heart of each of us. And so I came across a story, a true story this week that was hilarious and adorable and kind of illustrates this realization that we think of divine love and divine wisdom as being really far away, but it's actually already there. And so I'll just ask you, did anyone else see this video? It was a video of two adult identical twin brothers playing a prank on their dad. Did anyone see that one? Okay, yeah, okay, so one person did. You often see the same videos as I do. So two adult identical twin brothers playing a prank on their dad, and one of the adult identical twin brothers has been working overseas for a couple years. The dad doesn't know that he's actually come home. And so he dresses up in home brother's clothes, carries home brother's baby, rings the doorbell and asks his dad, "Have you heard from Musa, overseas brother?" And his dad said, "Oh, I talked to him briefly. You know how busy Musa is." And walks in, he's talking to his dad, carrying his brother's baby on his hip. And then the other brother comes to the door. And the dad does this double take, and he's like, wait, Musa's already here in my living room. And then there was, the only thing I can describe it as is scream laughing. Like, if you've never heard scream laughing, just like search out this video, it's hilarious. So there's scream laughing, just like kissing each other, laughing, screaming with joy and recognition. And that's the way it is with divine love. What we love, it's not far away from us. It's actually right in the home of each of us. It's right in the heart of each of us. And so what we're doing is inviting ourselves to transform our awareness so that we are aware that which I adore most dearly, it's here. It's here. And then what happens is actually, naturally, we will scream laugh. So we will be moving in that energy of revelation and joy and celebration. And that's that energy of generosity. That's that energy of spiritual abundance. That's simply that energy of we will continually have recourse and we will continually be able to connect with that fidelity to a higher purpose. And so for each of us right now to just connect with that feeling, like how does it feel in my body when I have that feeling of connectedness to a higher purpose? How does it feel in my heart when I have that feeling of connectedness to a higher purpose? How does it feel in my mind and in my life? How does my energy feel? And then if you think about this, just tune in. When I connect with that feeling of connectedness with a higher purpose, how does that then speak through me? How does that then think through me? How does that make choices through me? How is that present through me? And I also just want to say, it's already here, right where you are. So it's simply you being your highest, best self. Absolutely comfortable, welcoming the light in you, connecting with and welcoming the light in everyone. And it's you. It's your talents. It's your skill set. It's your voice. It's your accent. It's your body. It's your background. It's you. Simply being you, connected with that which is highest and best in you. And when you make that connectedness possible in yourself, you silently are creating an invitation. Often it doesn't happen in words, but silently you create an invitation everywhere you go. So on the bus or on the train or walking down the street or in line at the grocery store, in offices, in boardrooms, wherever you find yourself, silently, your very presence is inviting people to connect with what is highest and best. And then naturally, the world transforms. Our experience of the world transforms as we live and move and breathe and have our being in that energy of spiritual abundance. Going to the kingdom first, and then allowing that righteousness, that fidelity to a higher purpose to share through us with absolute joy. Thank God, and God bless us all.